Isn't that a beautiful view?
Yes.
We just had a storm a couple days ago. It's much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the summertime we've had smoke through here from all the fires.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're looking at the crisis around us in our environment, sustainable living becomes more and more important.
Absolutely.
We need to recreate more scenes like this.
Yep.
What we had when Barbara was here and when there were other gentlemen helping, we had a human compost system, humanure.
Sure.
And this is where that system was put up.
That was the humanure system.
And what that involves is putting all of your kitchen compost and humanure and urine, hay, and other items so that you're not using water to flush all of your waste.
Right. Right.
Which is critical right now in terms of our national water problem all around the country. It's, you know.
No question.
Yeah. That's part of what we're going to be trying to push for is in the sustainable trailer systems.
Mm-hmm.
Is having a self-contained compost system that doesn't use water to flush all of our waste.
Sure. I'm sorry for the sun is blinding.
So you can see, now, depending upon who's here will determine who's using different parts of the system. So we kind of have to say, okay, how are we going to keep the thing going? And part of what we're looking at is with the COVID, we recognize that doing demonstrations and having people come through where people are living is not a real good system. So we're focusing more on taking all of our systems, documenting well how they work, and using the income from the rentals to put that information on the internet and educate people through online sources.
And what are the main features of this house? I see it's very well insulated.
Oh, right? It's built into the ground.
Okay.
Into the hill. Okay, and it's you know, when you have food stored, food was stored here for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So part of your storage problem is keeping the food at a good cool temperature.
Yep. And
that's what this does with the, you can see the brick. Well, you see it's all brick.
Mm-hmm.
So the brick holds the heat and the coolness there.
Okay.
You can see can you see down there where it's brick?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move up to the house.
Okay.
And this picture over here.
What's that?
Well, there.
Yep.
The windmill up top.
Sure.
That's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
And we added the solar to it, and the solar is just easier to upkeep than you got to climb up that thing to, you know, service it, and the solar is hardly any work at all.
Sure.
And one of the things that we have here now, the house was built into the side of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
She would have come back further in the hill, but she ran into solid rock.
Ah.
So she could only go so far.
Sure.
This here is our solar water heater.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So the sun heats the water well about 6 months out of the year. The other 6 months it's give and take because it gets down in the single digits around here in the winter. Over here is our water tank. The water comes from the well, goes into here, and this is our water storage for the main part of the house.
Okay.
Another gentleman that lived here for a while built water distillers.
Sure.
And
Okay.
what it does, water comes in from here, goes into here, goes into this system here, and it sits on the bottom, and the sun does a evaporation, and evaporates and goes up onto the top of this screen here. And when it goes up on that screen, it's set at a specific angle that the water moves from the top, and it comes into a gutter along here and goes there and goes down into the house.
Sure.
This is the like the tank that you saw outside for heating water. This provides a water heater for the lower kitchen sink.
Sure.
And this is the solar wall cooker that we were going to go into production, but the people that were doing it were, up on our internet we have all the instructions on how to build that into your wall. But we haven't gone into production because the people have gone to Alaska being afraid of the, everybody's moving around according to the earth changes and the climate.
Sure.
So he thinks it'd be safer up there, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This here you can use for solar cooking. Let me get there. And it also works as a system of a heater for the wintertime.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, you can leave the stove open,
Yep.
and you will get heat that comes out of there that helps heat the whole house. So during the day you can do that well.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And the way this works, you put food in there, put this up there.
Oh, so it sticks that far out. Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
it's far out, and we'll take a picture of that when we go outside.
Sure.
And there's a latch up here, holds it in there,
Okay.
and then this goes in right through here. You can see the walls.
Sure.
These are walls of brick,
And they're built right into the.
and it's different than a regular house in that a house, they don't leave something that collects the mass inside of the house. They insulate from the outside, and then they heat the air inside. And this here you can see with the brick provides the insulation and holds the mass of the heat.
Sure.
Now in the winter time, you can regulate the amount of sun that comes in. During the summertime, you can close those off so that the sun doesn't come into the house and heat it. During the winter time, you open those windows as they are now, and then you get sun that comes in and that will heat these walls.
Sure.
Okay, and the floor. Because the floor is also designed to hold maximum part of the heat.
Sure.
Now in the summertime, at night, you have to dissipate the amount of heat that's in the house. And if you'll come around to here, and the heat moves through those,
Oh, sure.
it moves through there, and then we open a window here, and we open a window there, and so in the summertime, at night, the coolness in the evening cools the house. Or in the wintertime, you can close that, and you won't have that. You won't use that during the nighttime.
Yep.
previously, the distilled water that was here before
Yep.
came in through this here, so it came directly into the house.
Mhm.
You can see here when the sun comes in during the winter time, as it gets lower and lower, we get more and more heat on the floor here. And that's our basis for passive solar heating of the home. Up here, see next to the stove pipe there,
Mhm.
that vent you can open when it's hot. And we have chimneys on the outside that are designed so that when the sun shines on them, it sucks air out. So that in the summertime will suck the hot air out of the house.
Sure.
Which is, most people don't have that.
Yeah. Yep.
And this here, we don't have to use it much, but it's here as a backup wood
They
stove.
want to heat this house up to 90 degrees in an hour,
Wow.
every room,
Sweet.
Yeah.
but it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And if you don't need it,
No, it works really well now, for what it is, it works great.
So we have storage
Didn't look
here,
like this when I moved in here.
oh, you clean it up.
and there's
Oh yeah.
another bedroom up there.
Uh huh.
Okay. And there's vents over there.
Sure.
You can see the vents up here.
Okay.
You want to go there closer and look at
Oh
the...
yeah, I don't want to go too far. Let's
Okay.
just get a shot. It's like the ones in the other room, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you see here, we have solar batteries
Oh yes.
in that
Okay.
box.
Yep.
And we have our controllers and everything right in here for the solar panels up top side.
Sure.
Okay.
Inverters and the whole
Yeah,
nine
all
yards.
that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. And there's a greenhouse right here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And the greenhouse has some of the same features up there that during the summertime, when it gets too hot, you can vent the heat off. And at other times, you can open that window over there and move the air through to kind of cool the whole place down or help heat the place.
Sure.
As you This is a food dryer. So a person that's interested in getting cases of apples in apple season and drying them for using during the winter will find that the sun comes in over here. Okay, the sun comes in and heats this area, comes up through there, and then there's a vent system here. That pulls the air through here. And over here you can see there's metal here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a system here that brings the well, you can see that hole right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The heat from over there comes in here and it circulates there so that when the heat comes up, it comes up in a very even way. If you just put a thing over here that collects the sun, you'll get everything dried up here and nothing dried down here. So the design for this is also on the internet, and it's been used in some of the countries in South Africa where they're using this design specifically to save food.
Yep. Are those screens on the top shelf there on the right?
These are screens for holding the food.
Sure.
And you can see here, you would have a screen here, screen here, screen here, screen here.
Sure.
And you have screens, on the whole system,
Sure.
which is fine.
Yep.
the metal, and I'd have to pull the thing out to walk it through, but the metal on this side, when that heats up more, it has a tendency to pull the cool air out. And when it pulls the cool air out of the bottom, the cool air comes out through here. And then the warm air, you know, goes down. So it's
Sure.
kind of a really an unusual system.
Yep.
Okay, you've probably seen chicken coops before.
Yeah.
And we had classes and things that we did for people, and we would build rocket stoves on the weekend. And you can see here where you put low levels of food in, or low levels of fire in there, and then systems here that will bring the food up and just put your pot right here. They're fantastic. It's a commitment to sustainability and not using any things. Now, if you have the solar cookers, or like the Sport, you don't have to do much of this.
Yeah.
The only time you would have to do this is if you don't have any sun and you're still wanting to cook. This is a rocket stove designed to do things like turkey dinners. And this is where you'd put the put in your wood. And you can see you don't need big pieces of wood. You can use small pieces like that. And put them in there. Close the system up. Put your food in here. And close it up. Now these would be things that we would, in our class, we would teach people the fundamentals so they could build all these things themselves. Now on our internet, at the present time, we have descriptions of how to build these, but what I'm working at is YouTube showing how to do each one.
Sure.
And there's some people that heat their whole homes with rocket stoves. You know, they're just tremendous. So did I show you how if you can take a picture up there from here, you see the chimneys?
Yes.
On this side of those chimneys, it's plastic.
Okay.
Okay. On the other side of the chimney, and it's about 2 feet deep there. On the other side of that, it's metal. And during the summertime, when it's warm, the sun goes through there, heats the metal up, and the metal then sends warm air up through the chimney, and so it sucks hot air out of the house. And I think you can kind of see here the main part of our passive solar is the 8 windows there in front. Okay, and there's an overhang depending on where you are on the earth will determine how much overhang you have to have so that the maximum part of the year during the summer it will block the sun from going into those. And in the winter time it will then open it up so that like the sun, it goes like 3/4 of the way across that floor.
Sure.
We had a national forest behind us, but it was state, and the state leased it to a cattle grower, and he came in and cut all the trees. And within 3 months, the gully had washed out. We had cattle on our property that they came in through there, and the road washes out. I've been kind of focusing on how do I fix that road, and I forgot about the weeds.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that covers us, Luke.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate taking this extra time. It's I know this is not the most ordinary thing to do.
It's part of maintaining the volunteers. We've got volunteers in Sholo and an hour away from here, 3 other volunteers, that it's very hard for them to get here.
Yeah.
So I'm 45 minutes away.
Oh, man.
You know, it's a lot of work,
Sure.
but all of us have to do what we can. And if we have the opportunity to do something to provide a model for other people to build a more sustainable planet, we have to focus on that. Me coming in and helping you do this is part of my one small part.
Oh, appreciate it. Very much appreciated.
Good.
Yeah, and it's I told people this is a pilgrimage because out of 40 plus, almost 50 now with this episode, probably 2 out of 3 will say they're inspired by Robert Kerr and Sherry Cole.